The Young and the Restless scoop for Wednesday, July 16th reveals Nick Newman will realize someone's trying to set him up. Also coming up, Chance Chancellor will grill Phyllis Summers. Plus, Amanda Sinclair will have some questions for Kane Ashby. And Lily Winters will lean on Devin Winters and Abby Newman. Y&R spoilers tease Chance will gather everyone in the train car. Lily will say she wants to hear what happened and who's responsible. Chance will say he'll do whatever he can to get to the bottom of it. Does anybody else find it odd that Kane already anticipated this happening? Devin will ask. Chance will say Kane has sent some people down the mountain to alert the authorities, but he's not sure how long they'll take them to get there. So you're calling this a murder? Lily will ask. Chance will say yes, and he'd like to question all of them. There's only one person here with real motive for murder, Lily will say. Kane will say he gets why they're all looking at him, but he was the intended target. He'll also tell them about the drugged bourbon from his private stash that he and Damien Kane both drank. So, how is Damien gone and you're fine? Lily will ask. They'll find out that Damien died from a stab wound. A dagger was thrown into his back. Kane will grab the box where the dagger used to be. He was drugged with your alcohol and stabbed with your knife? Lily will say to Kane. Then she'll turn to Devin. How do we tell Amy? How do we tell Nate? She'll ask. Chance will say he's going to question Phyllis first. Kane and Amanda will head to the cocktail area. She'll say she needs him to be honest. I need to know, did you have anything to do with this murder? An angry Kane will say of course not. But Amanda will say the facts are incriminating. I don't mean to alarm you, but how do you expect anyone to interpret this? Amanda will add. We both know you have a way to contact the police in Nice. What are you hiding, Kane? As for Lily, she'll return to her room with Abby and Devin. What if it's my fault? What if I pushed Kane too hard? Lily will ask. What if the father of my children is a murderer? She'll point out that Kane fired Damien and invited him there anyway. Devin will say it didn't make any sense. Do you think it's possible that Kane just wanted Damien dead all along? Lily will ask him. But Devin will say maybe Damien was Kane's target, but not for the reasons they think. Kane and Damien could have had a contentious relationship we weren't aware of. Meanwhile, Nick will arrive in Sharon Newman's room. He'll tell her he can't find his parents. There's been a murder, he'll add. It's Damien, he was stabbed in the back. When he tells Sharon what happened, she'll ask if there were any other witnesses besides Kane. Phyllis, he'll reply. Then he'll say Kane's claiming the dagger was meant for him, so Nick thinks he'll blame someone else. If I'm right, this vacation from hell is about to take another turn and get a whole lot worse. Nick will think Kane's going to blame his dad. If Kane did try to pin this on Victor, I know that Michael would reconsider and come to the rescue, Sharon will reply. She'll also worry about how this will affect Phyllis. Back in the dining area, Phyllis will say there was something different about the maze. It was like somebody went in there and rearranged everything to throw us off. Then Phyllis will tell Chance what she saw. Did you witness anything that might indicate Kane stabbed Damien? He'll ask. Phyllis will say no and suggest Chance focus the investigation elsewhere. So, Chance will ask if she's covering for Kane. I would never protect a killer for the sake of a job, she'll reply. Phyllis will add Kane couldn't have hidden the bottle and the knife. She was with him the whole time. Finally, Nick will rush in, holding the bloody dagger, which is wrapped in plastic. I found this in the bathroom of my sleeping car, he'll tell Chance and Phyllis. Someone is setting me up. Keep reading The Soap Scoop for Young and the Restless spoilers and news, and make sure to also join our Y&R Facebook group or leave us a reply in our comments section. But if you miss an episode, don't fret. You can watch The Young and the Restless online at cbs.com. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of July 24 to 25 reveal that some double panic is on the way for Kyle Abbott and Audra Charles, while Sharon Newman moves forward with a rescue mission. Billy Abbott will also unleash his wrath. So here's what Y&R fans can expect. For starters, the whodunit will continue in Nice, where Chance Chancellor will sort through more clues and suspicions. It'll be a lot to navigate, but Chance will do his best to uncover the truth of who killed Damian Kane. Since Nick Newman is being set up for the crime, Sharon will play rescuer with some bold moves. Will Sharon help Nick prove his innocence and steer blame towards someone else? As for Lily Winters, her heart may become more and more conflicted as this story moves along. At some point, Kane Ashby may corner Lily for a private conversation. It's easy to picture Kane pushing Lily to look into his eyes and admit she knows he's innocent deep down. Of course, the news about Damian's grim fate is on the verge of spreading, so that could play a role in why Audra and Kyle go too far. Audra may get vulnerable as she worries about the pain Amy Lewis and Nate Hastings are going to face. Seeing some genuine emotion from Audra, and not just an act, could be enough to seal the deal on Kyle's erupting passion with her. Whatever the case, it won't be long until Kyle and Audra indeed step into forbidden territory. The week of July 21st and 25th will bring some double panic since both Audra and Kyle will inevitably regret what they've done. It could leave Kyle and Audra in agreement when it comes to burying their joint betrayal. Audra might put her vibrante ambitions aside and focus on protecting her relationship with Nate, at least for now. Kyle may also be determined to keep Claire Newman in the dark, so a secret pact with Audra is most likely on the horizon. Over with Billy, he'll struggle after a tough setback. It looks like Jack Abbott is about to pull his Abbott Communications funding and leave Billy absolutely fuming. Jack might even make a power play that involves taking the company away from Billy altogether. Regardless, Billy will be feeling vengeful soon, so stay tuned for updates on how he might strike back. As Chance's impromptu murder investigation gets underway on Young and Restless, he'll have to question everyone at the chateau in Nice. As Devon pointed out in the weekly preview, they're all suspects. The case will cause massive troubles for one possible suspect, even though they have an ironclad alibi. In fact, it's the alibi itself that will present the problem. While the likes of Jack and Diane roamed the maze, the shocking murder of Damian Kane took place in the statue garden. Phyllis witnessed the tail end of the attack. Kane, of course, was with the victim, and his lawyer, Amanda, was with Lily. But everyone else has yet to account for their whereabouts at the time of the killing. Whilst floundering in the greenery, Diane wondered aloud to Jack where their son Kyle might be and who he might be with. Jack worked to assuage her concerns by declaring that he may not trust Audra Charles, but he trusts their son implicitly. We're not sure why he feels this way given Kyle's track record, but that's neither here nor there. Indeed, the last time Young and Restless viewers saw Kyle, he was in Audra's sleeping cabin indulging in a celebratory champagne toast after Kane had agreed to help them salvage their perfume battle publicity campaign. We don't know if things went any further than that, but the bottom line is that whether they hopped into bed together or not, they're now each other's alibi. Unfortunately for Kyle, this is hugely problematic. Word is bound to spread that Kyle and Audra were together at the time of the murder, thus clearing them of suspicion, but landing the Abbott in an impossibly horrible situation. Even if he stayed true to Claire, Victor's got the ammunition he needs to make it appear otherwise. Kyle signed a contract promising to leave Genoa City and pay the mustache $5 million smackaroos if he hurt Claire. Guess what? When Grandpa tells his grieving granddaughter that Kyle was canoodling with Audra while she was dealing with the death of her dad, she's gonna be hurt. Yep, Kyle may manage to escape being a suspect in a bloody murder, but his ironclad alibi is set to bring a veritable mountain of trouble down on his head. Soaps readers, do you think Kyle cheated in France? Vote. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, July 17th, reveal that Lily Winters will spill some incriminating info. Chance Chancellor will also grill Nick Newman before Victor Newman makes a significant vow regarding his family. So let's talk about what's coming up on Y&R. Following Nick's bloody dagger discovery in his sleeping car bathroom, Chance will have plenty of questions. Nick will maintain that he's the victim of a setup and accuse Kane Ashby of going this far to cover his own tracks. Of course, Chance wouldn't be doing his job if he didn't at least consider the possibility that Nick is guilty. Since Chance likes to look at all possible angles, that's surely one he'll mull over too. Nick may not have a motive to want Damian Kane dead, but Kane has repeatedly insisted he was the intended target. If that's true, it would indeed give Nick a motive since he feared Kane was going after the Newmans and trying to take what's theirs. Even Phyllis Summers might throw Nick under the bus and admit he seemed agitated when she saw him in the maze earlier. Phyllis has promised she's willing to betray Nick for Kane's sake, so this could be her chance to prove it. Although Lily has been thinking Kane's a killer and struggling to wrap her head around it, she may change her tune a bit on Thursday's show. Lily will spill some incriminating info to Chance, and it may not be about Kane. Nick went on a Kane tirade during a conversation with Lily and Amanda Sinclair shortly before Damien's demise. Lily may confess Nick was riled up over Kane before he stomped off alone. As for Kane, he'll rush to his own defense, presumably against Nick's setup accusations. After Kane swears he had nothing to do with framing Nick, Chance may believe him since he didn't have access to the stolen evidence. Phyllis was with Kane after he left Damien's stabbed body on the ground. Chance was with Kane after that, so Kane was never alone to go back for the dagger, bourbon bottle, or glasses. However, Nick may argue that Carter or another one of Kane's employees could have handled that for him. Whatever the case, Victor will get updates on all the frame-up drama and make a protective promise. There's no way Victor will let Nick go down for this, so he'll make that crystal clear soon enough. The Young and the Restless spoilers tease that Chelsea Lawson and Adam Newman will get closer to the truth. Chelsea told Adam that she suspects Holden Novak is Kane Ashby's secret business partner. Adam wasn't completely sold on a Holden/Kane partnership. He sees Holden as a newcomer to Genoa City, just looking to fit in. However, Chelsea is certain she is right. She lays all her evidence out. The evidence that convinced Adam about their connection was when he saw Holden flirting with Claire Newman. He found that strange, considering Claire is dedicated to Kyle Abbott. At Adam's request, Chelsea keeps digging for information on Holden. She is certain she can uncover a solid connection. After some digging, she locates the information she needs to prove their connection. The Young and the Restless spoilers state that Chelsea gives the information to Adam, who is shocked to see their obvious connection. He seems pleased by Chelsea's information, marvels about how they can use this information to help his dad, Victor Newman, Eric Braden, and Newman Media. Adam will confront Holden about the information Chelsea discovered. The Young and the Restless spoilers state Holden tries to throw Adam off by explaining the evidence they found. Adam doesn't buy it. Kane gave Holden the orders to get closer to Chelsea, Claire, Adam, and Mariah Copeland. This lines up with Holden's actions by flirting with Chelsea and working hard to become someone Claire trusts. The Young and the Restless spoilers state that Adam won't believe Holden's story and become obsessed with finding a way to expose his connection to Kane. Adam feels it in his gut that Kane's endgame has evil intent. Holden tries to convince Adam that he is just a newcomer and looking to make friends. He may attempt to convince him that he doesn't know Kane, other than a passing conversation at Crimson Lights. Adam won't buy it. Chelsea found clear proof that he is up to no good. She also discovered a clear connection between him and Kane. After Holden's conversation with Adam, he looks noticeably uncomfortable with the idea of Victor's son knowing anything about his real reason for being in Genoa City. YNR fans, what information do you think Chelsea found out about Holden? Please share your thoughts with us in the comments section below. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Sharon Newman may discover Carter is the killer. Will Sharon's plan to clear Nick Newman end in grave danger? YNR kicked off a murder mystery with Damien Kane's demise, so Chance Chancellor is working hard to investigate and nail down who the culprit might be. Of course, the show's playing around with the idea that Kane Ashby may have been the intended target instead, but there's a good chance the dagger thrower indeed wanted to take Damien out of the picture. Since none of the usual key players would resort to knife throwing to get rid of someone, it makes sense that Carter is the culprit. Carter is the one wild card in all this who's capable of anything since he's so fiercely devoted to Kane. There's a good chance Carter was trying to move a relationship roadblock out of the way for Kane, who made his desire to reunite with Lily Winters known. Now Carter may be framing Nick, who found the bloody dagger in the bathroom of his sleeping car in the July 16th episode. This may be Carter's strategy to cast suspicion somewhere else and maybe throw the Newmans off their game at the same time. Carter may think this will work out well for Kane's other goals back in Genoa City too. Chance is already looking into things, but he won't be the only one seeking the truth in the coming episodes. Sharon will also take control of the situation somehow, and most likely hope she can clear Nick's name. It sounds like Sharon will play detective as well and do her best to get Nick out of this jam. The closer Sharon gets to the real story, the more danger she could be in. If Sharon figures out that Carter is responsible, could he decide to make her another attack victim? Carter may determine that he can't have Sharon ruining all his plans, so he could go after her and put her life on the line. Perhaps that could give Nick a chance to play the hero for Sharon in the end. Just when it looks like Sharon might face a grim fate too, Nick might save the day. In the upcoming episodes of The Young and the Restless, Victoria Newman finds herself at the heart of a powerful emotional storm, grappling with grief, betrayal, and the possibility of rediscovering love. Still mourning the tragic death of Cole Howard, Victoria tries to remain strong for the sake of her daughter Claire, who is struggling to understand the loss of a father she barely knew. With the Newman family scattered between Genoa City and France, Victoria becomes the emotional anchor amid chaos. Yet for the first time in a long while, she is not alone. Nate Hastings, grieving the sudden loss of his half-brother, Damien Kane, finds unexpected solace in Victoria's presence, and the connection between them deepens as they lean on each other in their sorrow. This shared vulnerability begins to open the door to something more intimate, perhaps even love. While navigating her own heartbreak, Victoria remains fiercely protective of Claire, especially as painful truths begin to unravel. One such truth is Kyle Abbott's ill-fated affair with Audra Charles while in France, an indiscretion that threatens to emotionally devastate Claire just as she begins to rebuild. Victoria, sensing the danger, is ready to shield her daughter from any further betrayal. At the same time, suspicion and turmoil swirl around Genoa City as Kane Ashby becomes a key suspect in Damien's mysterious death. Though Victoria initially stays on the sidelines, her strategic instincts may soon be called upon, especially if Victor or Adam asks for her help to protect the family legacy. This could mark a turning point for Victoria, revealing a sharper, more assertive side as she steps up to defend everything her family has built. Beyond the chaos of external conflict, Victoria's inner journey is one of reflection and emotional reckoning. As she prepares for Cole's memorial service, she revisits tender memories of their time together, especially a poem he once read to Claire, confronting the pain of losing a man who had only recently re-entered her life. Through it all, Victoria continues to carry herself with quiet resilience. But with Nate's growing presence and Claire's emotional needs, she may finally allow herself the space to grieve, to heal, and perhaps to love again. In a world full of shifting alliances, buried secrets, and broken trust, Victoria's story is far from over. Her strength, vulnerability, and emotional evolution promise a transformative journey, one that will captivate viewers as she reclaims her voice, protects her family, and dares to hope for a future shaped not only by legacy, but by love. Beneath the sun-drenched beauty of Nice, France, with its terracotta rooftops and shimmering Mediterranean Sea, a chilling crime has shattered the tranquility of a romantic getaway for a group of Genoa City's elite. What began as a chance to heal old wounds and forge new connections among friends turned into a nightmare of betrayal, murder, and unanswered questions. The death of Damien Kane, a charismatic newcomer to the group, has left his companions reeling and a community searching for answers in a story that feels ripped from a thriller. The group, including Nate Hastings, Audra Charles, Amy Lewis, and Kane Ashby, arrived in Nice hoping for relaxation and reconciliation. Damien, with his magnetic charm, had quickly become a pivotal figure, easing tensions and building bonds. But his life was brutally cut short in a dark alley behind a villa, his body found lifeless, marked by 2 precise knife wounds. The scene was soaked in blood and paranoia, leaving the group in shock. Nate, a doctor accustomed to handling crises, stood frozen by the cliffs, the crashing waves unable to drown out his disbelief. Amy, who had grown close to Damien, was left trembling, grappling with the loss of a man who had offered her forgiveness and hope. Audra, whose relationship with Nate had deepened during the trip, found herself at the center of a spiraling tragedy. And Kane, a man already on edge, seemed to unravel further as the horror unfolded. The question haunting them all was not just who killed Damien, but why, and what darkness among them could have led to such a calculated act of violence. As details emerged, the group learned that Damien and Kane had been lured into a false sense of camaraderie, their drinks laced with a potent sedative. Under the cover of night, a masked figure struck with chilling precision. Damien fought back, but the knife was swift, leaving him no chance to survive. Kane, barely conscious, awoke to find his friend dead. The killer vanished, and the illusion of safety shattered. Kane's response was drastic. He locked down the villa, turning their vacation into a siege. Guests were confined to their rooms, phones confiscated, and private security patrolled the grounds. Audra, sensing danger, wanted to flee but couldn't abandon Nate or Amy, who was slipping into despair. Nate, drawing on his medical training, began piecing together a plan to uncover the truth, aware that time was running out before more lives were at risk. Meanwhile, Chance Chancellor, a detective back in the U.S., was drawn into the case when Damien's name triggered a personal connection. Ignoring warnings to stay out of it, he flew to Nice, armed with his badge and intuition. Upon arrival, he found a villa filled with restless, suspicious guests. Whispers of a strange figure in the olive grove and an argument Damien had over the phone began to surface. But it was a grainy security tape from a nearby cafe, showing Damien meeting a mysterious figure hours before his death, that offered the first real clue. Audra, pushed to her breaking point, risked everything to contact Chance, slipping away to use a hidden burner phone. Her call detailed Damien's growing paranoia, Kane's erratic behavior, and the oppressive isolation of the villa. This act became the catalyst for dismantling Kane's control, allowing authorities to free the guests. But just as hope returned, Kane vanished, leaving behind a cryptic letter and evidence of suspicious financial transactions. Was he involved in the murder, or had he simply cracked under pressure? Nate's investigation took a new turn when he uncovered Damien's recent contact with someone in Genoa City, tied to a buried scandal involving a pharmaceutical company, missing research files, and a bribery scheme. Damien's death, it seemed, was no random act. It was a professional hit meant to silence him. The killer had exploited Nice's beauty and the group's vulnerabilities, counting on Kane's instability and the guests' silence. For Amy, the loss was deeply personal. Damien, her son, had been a beacon of hope, offering forgiveness and a chance to rebuild their fractured bond. His murder, coupled with her ongoing battle with leukemia, threatened to break her entirely. Nate, her brother, watched her fade under the weight of guilt and grief, her health deteriorating as she obsessed over what she could have done to save her son. A haunting moment before the murder, when Amy's embrace lingered with unspoken worry, now tormented her as a mother's intuition ignored. Nate, no longer just a healer, but a protector, vowed to seek justice. He and Amy, along with Audra, are now determined to return to Genoa City, not to mourn in silence, but to demand answers. They suspect Kane's disappearance is no coincidence, and that his role, whether as a witness or something more, holds the key to unraveling the truth. The murder of Damien Kane has sent shockwaves beyond the French Riviera, threatening to expose long-hidden secrets in Genoa City's boardrooms and bedrooms. Audra, once a messenger, is now ready to take a bolder role in the fight for justice. Nate, hardened by loss, pursues truth with strategic resolve. And Amy, though fragile, burns with a quiet strength that could prove pivotal. This tragedy, marked by betrayal and orchestrated violence, is far from over. As the group prepares to confront the shadows of Damien's past, they carry with them a shared resolve to expose the killer, uncover the scandal, and ensure that Damien's death becomes the spark that ignites justice. In Nice, death was not the end. It was the beginning of a reckoning that will not rest until the truth is revealed. The fictional town of Genoa City is buzzing with drama as Young and the Restless delivers a whirlwind of suspense, betrayal, and shocking revelations in its latest episodes, airing from July 16th to July 25th, 2025. A mysterious murder, tangled relationships, and accusations flying in every direction keep viewers on the edge of their seats. Here's a detailed look at the gripping events unfolding this week and what to expect in the days ahead. The week begins with a chilling crime aboard a train, where Chance, a key figure in the investigation, gathers guests to uncover the truth behind Damien's brutal stabbing. The murder weapon, a knife, has vanished, and suspicions swirl around several characters, particularly Kane, who was found with the dying Damien. Tensions rise as secrets unravel, and relationships are tested. On Wednesday, July 16th, Chance conducts interviews in the club car, but key players like Nikki, Victor, Lauren, Michael, Diane, Jack, Audra, Kyle, Billy, Sally, and Carter are absent. Phyllis, who claims she got lost in a deliberately confusing maze, insists she saw Kane with Damien's body, but denies he's the killer. However, her credibility is questioned, as Chance knows her history of deception. Meanwhile, Lily suspects Kane, who insists he was drugged and targeted, not the perpetrator. The discovery that Damien was stabbed, not poisoned, adds a new layer of intrigue, and the missing murder weapon deepens the mystery. Nick, another central figure, finds himself in a precarious situation when the bloody knife turns up in his bathroom on July 17th. Convinced he's being framed, he delivers the evidence to Chance, sparking fears that someone, possibly Kane, is setting him up. Victor, determined to clear his name, may point fingers at Kane, escalating the conflict. Amanda defends Kane, insisting he's innocent, but Lily shares damaging information with Chance, revealing Kane's jealousy over her new relationship with Damien. The timing of Damien's death, right after Kane's confrontation with him, paints a grim picture. By Friday, July 18th, the plot thickens. Devon questions whether a death threat against Kane was fabricated, hinting at a deeper history between Kane and Damien. Could blackmail or a hidden grudge be at play? As accusations mount, the truth remains elusive, leaving Genoa City's residents and viewers questioning who to trust. Amid the murder investigation, personal relationships take dramatic turns. Audra and Kyle, shaken by the events, cross boundaries in a moment of passion on July 18th. Whether it's a fleeting kiss or something more, their actions betray Nate and Claire, setting the stage for guilt and regret in the following week. By July 21st through 25th, the fallout from their indiscretion weighs heavily, as both grapple with the consequences of their choices. Elsewhere, Billy faces a harsh reality check from Jack, who may pull the plug on funding Billy's company due to his risky alliances, particularly with Kane. Sharon goes to extremes to support Nick, who is desperate to clear his name and return to his family. However, with the murder weapon tied to him, Chance may block his departure, raising the stakes. As the week of July 21st to 25th unfolds, Genoa City remains a powder keg. Suspicions about Kane intensify, with some wondering if the true killer might strike again. Amanda continues to defend Kane, urging him to involve the French authorities, while Victor demands swift action, frustrated by the lack of progress. Lily, meanwhile, is devastated at the thought of breaking the news of Damien's death to Nate and Amy, blaming herself for the tragedy. Nick presses Phyllis for answers, suspecting she's hiding something to protect Kane or secure a job. The investigation digs into Kane and Damien's past, hinting at secrets yet to be uncovered. With emotions running high, every move could lead to a breakthrough or another betrayal. The latest episodes of Young and the Restless weave a captivating tale of deception, loyalty, and loss. The murder of Damien has shattered the fragile trust among Genoa City's residents, leaving everyone questioning who's behind the crime and what secrets remain buried. As relationships fray and suspicions deepen, the stakes couldn't be higher. Viewers are left eagerly awaiting the next twist, as the truth promises to shake the town to its core. Stay tuned to see how this gripping saga unfolds, and brace for more surprises in the days ahead. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Nick Newman could become a frame-up victim. Will the real killer make this Newman family member look guilty and try to throw the murder investigation off track? Since the killer threw the dagger from a distance, Kane Ashby suspects he may have been the intended target. Based on Chance Chancellor's assessment in the July 15th episode, He seems to believe Kane's theory is the right one. In other words, Kane and Chance are thinking Damian Kane wasn't meant to drink the drugged bourbon from Kane's private stash, nor was he meant to take a dagger to the back. However, if someone was going to this much trouble to kill Kane, it's hard to believe they'd miss. It seems likely that Kane and Chance are wrong, so we should consider the possibility that killing Damian was indeed the culprit's goal. Carter makes the most sense as someone who'd want to wipe Damian off the map and secretly do his boss a favor, at least from his perspective. Perhaps Carter felt like he should eliminate Lily Winters' new boyfriend and give Kane the best chance at winning her back. This may be an extreme act of loyalty on Carter's part. Of course, the party guests don't trust Kane at all, so there are going to be plenty of fingers pointed at him. Kane will be forced to defend himself against some fatal accusations since he was the last person with Damian before his demise. Carter won't want to make himself look guilty if he's indeed the killer, but he won't want Kane looking guilty either, especially not to Lily. That means Carter could be looking to frame someone else, so what about Nick? For starters, Nick has already been in Kane's face with warnings about protecting his family. Maybe Carter could decide to make it seem like Nick was trying to defend the Newmans and their empire by targeting Kane, only to miss him and inadvertently strike Damian. We should also note that after Lily saw Damian's dead body in the July 15th episode, Nick was there to put his arms around her and offer comfort. Carter had a front row seat to that, so he might worry Nick could become romantic competition for Kane too. Whatever the case, Nick's on the verge of making a major discovery. What if the missing dagger gets planted in Nick's private train car? Could the missing bourbon bottle and glasses end up there too? Other YNR spoilers for the week of July 14th, 18 indicate that Victor Newman will focus on family protection, and later, Sharon Newman will take charge of a situation to help Nick. Could all that mean Nick will become a frame-up victim? Will Nick come forward with the evidence or hide it knowing he could be blamed? The Young and the Restless spoilers say Nick could have some bad news ahead of him, so stay tuned for updates on any frame-up drama headed his way. In the recent episode of the CBS soap opera The Young and the Restless, aired on July 15th, 2025, Lily discovered Damian's dead body, shocking everyone. Kane tried to keep the investigation private and hired Chance as his personal investigator, even as doubts grew about Kane's involvement. Meanwhile, Amanda and Lily argued over Kane's motives, and Phyllis acted strangely after the incident. Devin and Abby questioned her, while Nick's vague comments added to the confusion. Kane refused to call the police, but offered Chance a large sum to investigate quietly. With evidence missing and motives unclear, the group was left shaken, especially Lily, who was heartbroken after seeing Damian's body. The Young and the Restless episode began with Amanda and Lily arguing about Kane. Amanda didn't trust Kane and thought he might do anything to get Lily back. She offered to talk to him, but her warning made Lily even more unsure about Kane's true intentions. After Damian was stabbed on The Young and the Restless, Phyllis begged Kane to get help, but he said Damian was already dead. Kane explained that the dagger was thrown from a distance, and he believed he was the real target. Phyllis doubted him, but he claimed he was innocent. They returned to the train car, looking visibly shaken. Devin and Abby noticed and asked questions. While Kane pulled Chance aside, the others pressured Phyllis, who got overwhelmed and ran into Nick near the maze. Nick on The Young and the Restless was focused on getting back to Sharon, but saw that Phyllis was shaken. She asked him what he had seen and if he was hiding something. Nick showed concern for her, remembering his earlier warning about Kane. Phyllis hinted that the situation was serious, possibly life and death. Meanwhile, Devin and Abby told Amanda and Lily what happened. Since Kane had warned of danger before, they started to think the attack might be connected. On The Young and the Restless, Kane took Chance to where Damian's body was, but the dagger and bourbon glasses were gone. He worried that someone had already removed evidence and insisted the attack was meant for him, not Damian. Chance questioned Kane and thought his story made sense, but he wanted to call the police. Kane refused and offered $500,000 for Chance to conduct a private investigation. As the mystery grew on The Young and the Restless, Lily, still unaware of the truth, went looking for Damian. She found Phyllis with Nick and was about to learn what happened when Carter and another staff member walked by. carrying a body under a sheet. Phyllis stayed silent, and Kane's sad expression told Lily something was very wrong. Kane gently said he was sorry, as Lily lifted the sheet and saw Damien's dead body. She gasped in shock, covered her mouth, and stood frozen, completely devastated. By the end of the episode, everyone was caught in a mix of lies, doubts, and grief. With the weapon gone, motives still unclear, and Kane leading the investigation, the truth about Damien's death remained a mystery. Could this be the reason why Holden is partnering with Kane? Holden and Kane's partnership is arousing suspicions. With Kane's plot to take down many of Genoa City's businesses, he needs a right-hand man. Holden seems more than willing to help Kane, but the young and the restless fans are wondering what's his motive. Holden is definitely a man of mystery. From the moment he arrived in Genoa City, he's raised suspicions. First, he pretended to be Damien as per his friend's orders. Then later, it's revealed Holden has a past with Audra. While some clues have been given about Holden's past, viewers still don't know the full story. His secret partnership with Kane is attracting considerable attention, and many people wonder why they're working together. On Reddit, a fan theory speculates that the two men could be family. "I think he may turn out to be Kane's brother," declared one user. Another commenter agreed. "I'd said that to my mother not too long ago. Colin was his father too, and Kane is aware, but not Holden. I'd hate for it to be like Nate and Damien, though. That would be too much of the same thing." Holden and Kane being brothers is not out of the realm of possibility. Colin was a con artist, so he could have seduced Holden's mother, then left her brokenhearted and pregnant. Then, on his deathbed, a remorseful Colin might have told Kane about Holden. With this information, Kane could have tracked down his long-lost brother. If Kane and Holden are related, it'll be a huge twist. The fallout from the revelation would be epic, now that Genoa City's elite has not one, but two Ashby brothers to deal with. Vincent Stalba, who plays Carter, teased what his on-screen portrayer would do for Kane. The young and the restless fans have come up with various theories about Damien's murder. This came out of nowhere. Who's the gloved individual who stabbed him in the back? Was that knife meant for Damien or for Kane? There are so many questions about this murder. Vincent Stalba, who plays Kane's assistant Carter, dropped a major teaser about his on-screen persona. Stalba has fit into his role just fine. He told Soap Opera Digest that he enjoyed bossing people around. "That was a lot of fun. The first time I walked on the maze set, Joshua Morrow, Nick, said, 'Oh my God, he's perfect.' So that was my first introduction, and I felt immediately at home," Stalba exclaimed. His role isn't easy since he has to tell these legacy characters what to do and has to be short and snippy with them, but the cast took it well. So I think it was fun for them just as much as it was for me. Stalba has never acted on a soap before. He wanted to star in movies. Daytime has a different pace compared to primetime and feature films. When you first arrive for the day, there's a little kind of walk-through rehearsal, and then you go back to your room, and it's kind of the waiting game, Stalba explained. Then you're called back. You do another quick walkthrough just to remember the blocking for the cameras, and then it's, "Okay, we're taping," and then that's it, and they just quickly move on. It's just so fast. It's remarkable. Later in the interview, Stalba shared a teaser about his on-screen portrayer. Did he have a hand in killing Damien? Stalba shared an interesting tidbit about Carter. "Things are about to get very juicy and very exciting, and I think people are going to connect with Carter in a new way, and Carter may have plans of his own. All I'll say is I will do anything for my boss." Those sound like fighting words. Stalba also described Carter as calculated, cold, polished, professional, and very robotic. As soon as he read the scripts, the actor had to channel that energy. Stalba got some great feedback from the producers and writers. He successfully embodied the character, and we're living for it. Do you think Carter had a hand in Damien's murder? Share your burning thoughts in the comments below. Ever since his return, Kane hasn't mentioned his son, Sam, who is probably shipped off to boarding school. Kane is back, and we have many questions, as we should. He can't expect everyone to move on like nothing happened. Fans of the young and the restless have a few demands. Most are wondering what this means for Lily and Kane's kids. They want to see Kane have closure with his son Sam. Y&R fans are an outspoken bunch, as many passionate soap fans are. And that's wonderful. So it's no surprise that they want to see Kane have closure with his other son Sam. He has a difficult history since he was conceived during an affair. Kane and his assistant Juliet got drunk and shared a night of passion. He claimed not to know what happened that night, but he tried to hide his infidelity from his then-wife. Juliet learned she was pregnant with Kane's child. She then filed a sexual harassment lawsuit. Unfortunately, Julie died during complicated from childbirth. Lily and Kane ended up raising Sam and their twins, Charlie and Maddie. Sam's whereabouts are unknown. He hasn't been mentioned, even though Kane is back in Lily's life. He could be at boarding school somewhere. So, does this mean that their kids will come back? Fans are hoping the show will wrap up this storyline with Kane's son. Over at one soap opera message board, fans would like to see the writers address this complicated storyline. I wish the writers tie up the story regarding Sam, Kane's other son. I wonder what the writers are thinking about Sam, the original poster asked. Other fans have wondered about this as well. When Kane popped up in Genoa City, Chelsea asked him about his kids. I think Chelsea asked about his kids, and he said they were all grown up, but didn't mention them by name, so it probably depends on whether or not the writers will address Sam, or just pretend like he doesn't exist, one fan noted. Sam doesn't necessarily need to return home. It would be just nice to get a mention and see where their relationship stands to this day. Most fans feel bad for Sam, since he's never been treated like the twins. Some fans have hopes that Kane and Lily will discuss Sam at some point. I think they'll mention it eventually. Maybe he'll tell Lily that he discovered that he's not Sam's bio-father and that he's being raised by his maternal grandparents. This would close the case and also maybe soften Lily toward Kane, a fan concluded. What are your thoughts? Do you think Kane should seek closure with Sam? We want to know what you're thinking. Blast your thoughts in the comments section.